Welcome to the show. Today we are going to be talking about my personal top 10 favorite movies of 2017 because why not? Number 10 is Lego Batman. There's a few mediums that have gotten Batman right. Video games, cartoons, and for maybe 5 minutes, TV and movies. But the Lego Batman is so much explorative of the side of Batman that we don't really see a lot, which is his family. I mean, if you're a comics fan, there are like 12 books about Batman's extended family. But the main, I guess you say main media, don't know a lot about it. So the fact this is film was able to talk about Batman and his family and his relationships, that was just so refreshing, and I loved it so much. John Wick, which I never seen John Wick 1, but I had to go back and watch it because John Wick 2, it was like best part about it, it's maybe one of the best action movies I've ever seen. Worst part about it, it's like watching somebody else play a video game that's kind of good, but you're not playing it, so you get a little bored. There are so many reviews and so many people can talk about it, but I just gotta say, if you're a fan of action, then you need to watch it. Just watch it. There are so many cool things done here with the lighting and the act choreography, and of course, if you don't love Keanu Reeves, I'm not sure why. Like, we need to sit down and talk about why you do not like Keanu Reeves. Number 8 is Atomic Blonde, because I was just so charmed by this film. It was so beautiful, and all the people involved put so much... You can tell there's so much heart behind Atomic Blonde, and the action sequences. There's a lot of comparisons to John Wick and Atomic Blonde, but I don't really feel you can do that, because John Wick is action, and Atomic Blonde is more like spy thriller at times. They do the same thing where they can take out like 5 people, but if they get stuck in a room with one person, they'll be there for 5 minutes. And I kind of love that part of it. So if you want to check out a more spy-oriented version of John Wick that is almost at the same level of quality, then go watch Atomic Blonde. What is stopping you? Who told you not to do it? Number 7 is Thor Ragnarok. And, you look at a Disney Marvel movie and you're just like, oh, I'm going to watch this. But you watch Thor Ragnarok and it's suddenly about colonialism and covering up your dirty, blood-worn path in order to bring a new era of peace. And then your old soldier comes back and says, hey, what, you just tried to kill me because I did so much dirty crap for you, and well, screw you, you're dead, I'm gonna take over. I don't think anybody expected that from Thor Ragnarok, just about an old war soldier. So it just looked so cool, and it was so funny, and it was a perfect balance. And it was a Marvel movie. We don't have to say anything about Marvel movies. Whether or not you like the Marvel formula, just in movies in general, they're doing great, so you don't really have to worry about it. You don't have to there are the obvious things that you can complain about and the obvious things you can praise. So, Thor Ragnarok. If you haven't seen it, I don't know what I can do for you. If you haven't seen Wonder Woman, I'm not sure why. All these films on these lists, I'm not that indie. So, anyways, if you haven't seen Wonder Woman, it has great action, comedy. And I think a lot of geeks were afraid that what has happened to so many women in the past where they're kind of sidelined and do nothing is going to happen to the male character, but that's not true. Everybody has a role. Every man, female, woman, doesn't matter what you are. Everyone has a role, and everyone plays it so well. And it has great action sequences, and it's hilarious, and the setting is great. And although at times Wonder Woman is kind of basic, that's kind of the point. It's her starting movie. We're gonna see how great the ideas and concepts are in her number 2. But right now, as a starting out point, it's the best thing. We can all agree it's the best thing of the DC cinematic universe so far. So, Wonder Woman. I am not the biggest fan of horror movies, but Get Out is this sophisticated piece of societal horror that just dug into me so well, because it's not the horror where it's like a ghost popping up. It's the horror that makes you be afraid of your white next door neighbors. And it was so good. Like, it's weird to say that I enjoy the comedy in this scary film, but there's great moments where you just laugh at not only like a joke, or you laugh at the situation. Like, man, you got yourself into something terrible, and I feel so bad for you. And it's just, Get Out is just so good. If you didn't watch it, I think you should, because I have nothing else to say. Visually speaking, Dunkirk is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. We can put the story aside for 1 second. Just talking about how the characters are spaced and the setting and how everything is paced out. You feel this dread, this deep, boring dread and terror that comes and surrounds you, and you barely even see any of the German army whatsoever. So without showing actual enemy, without like face, blood, and gore, they create this tension that just impacted me so much. And honestly, as someone who has seen so many World War II, that era war with my grandpa, because he loves those documentaries, I got tired of it. But this film just renewed my interest in it, because it was just so grabbing. It grabs you, and I love it. First time I've ever said that. Guardians of the Galaxy, the Volume 2 is kind of the main message of it. You know that old saying that the water of the womb is thinner than the blood of the covenant? Where it's the bonds that we choose to make at the end of the day may mean more than those that we are born with, because it's that you put yourself out there. You know, my, second cousin, I am somewhat socially forced to recognize who they are. And even if they're a terrible person, not saying anybody is, I have to kind of accept them in my social circle, especially if you're a Mexican family, because you guys all stick together. I'm not going to get into that, but a family that you choose to have, that you choose to bring into your life, can sometimes mean so much more than any blood relationship could. So this whole movie is just about choosing not only who you are as a person, but who your family is. And I just love that. Especially in a world where there are so many broken families right now. So this film I love it so much. Star Wars: The Last Jedi is one of the most... How do I even say this? It's one of the most different of the Star Wars films, and that's really good. Star Wars: The Last Jedi is very much about accepting your loss and turning that around into a promise to yourself. So many people in this film lose so much, and others gain so much. But at the end of the day, if your head's not there, if your mindset is not in the direction it should be, then you're just going to either dig deeper into the hole you've put yourself in, or you're going to rise above it and keep rising above the filth that keeps getting thrown at you. And I don't really need to talk about it, because there's a video that you can watch on my actual opinion on it. So, love it or hate it, it should be canon. Before I get to my number one movie pick, I want to mention 3 movies that are my honorable mentions simply because I have not seen them. The theater I go to that you may or may not have seen in my videos before is Uptown Cinema, and they usually have deals on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm a broke college student, so I haven't had the chance to see every movie. But here are some great ones that you should watch. Logan, Baby Driver, Coco, and Mother. Number one movie pick of the year is one movie that has, how do I say this? This movie has touched me. I relate to it so much, and it kind of delves into the interpersonal but hollow bonds that we all create with each other every day in social media. Yes, my favorite movie of the year was Ingrid Goes West, and I loved it so much. It was so good. I felt like crying. This is going to be sad. If you know the movie, this is what I'm about to confess is sad, but I relate so much to the character of Ingrid. And you know, the movie didn't have the widest release. I saw it on ArcLight. It was a birthday present because it came out around my birthday. And the movie is just so good. Ingrid Goes West just personally touched me. And every second of it just builds on one another perfectly. And it just arises to this great dramatic fall that just kind of slaps you in the face. And you just realize, wow, everyone here can relate to Ingrid because she kind of represents the spirit of falseness that lives on the internet. And not she herself, but what she goes through. You know, if you haven't seen the movie, you should go watch it. I think you should. Honestly, it'd be a great book. Watching, if if I wanted to do a full mini review of each movie, that would take maybe 5 minutes on each thing, and I do not have the time to do a 20 to 30 minute video. So thank you for listening to my very quick snippets of my favorite movies. For my 10 subscribers that are watching this, comment, what do YouTubers say? Comment below on what your favorite movie was this year.